Welcome to the Fail Forward Podcast. The purpose of this podcast is change the negative stigma around failure into a positive. Failure is only a negative if we do not learn from it and we give up. So welcome back to the Fail Forward Podcast. So today I'm going to be talking about what went wrong. So if you've been listening to previous episodes, or if not, I had a failed business back in 2019. I grew it from 0 staff up to 47 over 10 years. And then I lost it all. And I'm quite open to talking to people about this. And quite often when I've met people in the past, the first thing they want to know is how, why, what happened, what went wrong. I created a document through the period of the recovery time when we started again, because I always wanted to make sure that I didn't make the same mistakes again. And I'm still not perfect, as I've spoken about in the past. I don't believe in perfectionism, and I don't believe in perfect. I think that's an opinion, and I think we're always evolving. And I've certainly still got a lot to learn. So everything that I talk about within this podcast it's been developed all the time. And sometimes I don't even see some of the things in front of me, and that's where it's so important to have mentors. I'm part of masterminds. I'm part of various different groups that we all help each other, because sometimes when you talk about things, a lot of the time when you talk about things, that's when you realize the things that are right in front of you. And sometimes when you're in the mix of a business, it's difficult to see that. So what went wrong? Ultimately, I didn't know my numbers. That was the one thing that went wrong. I didn't know my numbers. I grew a business for about, 9 years with not really knowing my numbers at all. I did it on hard work, determination, a good company culture. So I've always wanted to look after my staff, my team. Having a good team around you is a massive thing in business. But ultimately, when you start growing to the size of 47 staff, if you don't know your numbers, then that is a tough place to be, because you can't make decisions. You can't make really good decisions because we all have different parts of our brain. The two main parts we have is our thinking brain and our emotional part of the brain. And your thinking brain is always overrun by your emotional part of your brain. So I'll do a deeper dive into numbers in the future, because I don't want to take up a whole episode, but there will be an episode. But essentially, I was making decisions with emotion and not with the facts. And you need both. So not knowing my numbers, not knowing my cash flow, not knowing my bottom line, not knowing my profit and loss, not forecasting, not doing budgets. Another thing that I didn't have was really self-development. So I failed all my GCSEs when I was 16 years old. And after I did that, then I told myself that I'm not academic. I don't do learning. I don't need to read. I'm just going to do it on pure hard work and determination. And that's what I need, which if you're running a one-man band and you're a small business, hard work will get you through, because you will work late in the evening. You will get up early. You will put the extra hours in when need to be. When the shit's hitting the fan, you're there. But when you've got a business of 47 staff and the shit's hitting the fan and you're suddenly doing a lot for everybody within the business, you don't have enough hours in the day. It does become highly stressful. So I believe that we always need to be going to the next level. And as you grow a business, there will always be another level to go to. And if you don't develop yourself and you don't learn, then you're going to really struggle going up the gears and up the levels. Rob Moore, my mentor, says new level, new devil. He also says if you solve one problem, your win for that is you get another problem and you get a bigger problem. And he's very right in that, because in business, you are always evolving. You're pushing on, you're moving forward, and you're going to new levels. Everyone's got ambition, or people have got ambition to grow your business. But you need to grow yourself. Brad Sugars says you can't out-earn what you learn. You need to be learning. And I wasn't doing that for many years. So now moving on, I'm in a position where I spend a lot of time and money on self-development, always trying to grow myself, going on different training courses, reading books, audio books. So number one thing that went wrong was numbers. Number two, I wasn't developing myself. I wasn't moving myself forward. Number 3, I didn't know systems well enough, and I mean systemization within a business. And that was a big thing, having it systemized, knowing that my culture was systemized, knowing that everything was working. It's like McDonald's. It's one of the most systemized businesses, but people go to McDonald's because they know that they're going to get 2 gherkins in their burger and a certain amount of tomato ketchup. That's not just by chance that every McDonald's is the same. That's systemization. So it's really looking at creating that document of what went wrong, to be always holding myself accountable, to always be looking back at those. I've even got in that document culture, even though I believe the culture was the strongest point of it, because I still don't believe that the culture was defined enough. I remember having every new member of staff, I would do an hour-long induction with them. And in that induction, I would talk about the company culture. But at that point, it was like 50-page long document I'd gone belt and braces on. And really, I think after the first 10 minutes, I'd lost that person. They didn't really understand the culture. It was just me, their new boss talking at them about this business. And I thought I'd covered culture. And when the business was 15 staff, it was really easy to have a great culture. But when we were at 47, doing an hour-long introduction and then filing that culture document into the filing cabinet and it not coming out again, that's the last time they heard about the company culture. And I was running around trying to be everyone's friend, being too close to people. I used to know everybody's gerbils names, cats' names, kids' names. I used to try and be so close to everybody, but that wasn't always the right thing to be doing. As a boss, you need to have a little bit of separation from your staff. Yes, care about them. I care about every single person that I've got working for me now. I care about, but you don't have to be that close to people to have a good culture. And that was on the What Went Wrong document. Culture, even though it was something I got right in the early days, but I don't think I got it right towards the end. So that was huge. It was just understanding how a business works. And because I'd never been to college, university, done any business courses, it was really a massive learning point when the business went wrong. So if I was to do it all again, which I'm doing now in every business, I look at all of those different things, and I'm going to be going into what I call the 4 pillars of a sustainable business, and we're going to be doing a whole episode on that shortly. But my 4 pillars are numbers, sales and marketing, systemization, and culture. And I believe putting those 4 pillars into a business is going to give you every shot at becoming a successful, sustainable business. There's a horrible stat in business that, is it like 9 out of 10 businesses go under in the first 5 years or 10 years or 8? There's a percentage, and it's very, very around that. And I believe if you put those 4 pillars into a business, you're going to have the best shot at creating a good, sustainable business. So that's what went wrong. It was tough. It played on my resilience, but it did teach me a lot about business, and it taught me a lot about myself, my relationship with my wife, my kids. And it was a tough time. But ultimately, that What Went Wrong document is something that I look back at all the time now to learn and develop, and always make sure that I'm holding myself accountable. So if you're going through any sort of failure, and I talked about it in one of the previous episodes, have a journal, have something where you write this stuff, so you're always reminding yourself of the things that don't quite go wrong. I talk about the compound effect. The Compound Effect, the book by, I think it's Darren Hardy, is a fantastic book. And if you think about every little thing that goes wrong as a compound, it works in 2 ways. If lots of good things happen in a compound, skyrocket. If lots of bad things happen or negative things happen, it can go the other way. So if you can be writing down every time something doesn't quite go right, and have a What Went Wrong document, and also what's gone right, you can always be assessing that and working out the best way so you can achieve and succeed in your goals. So just to reiterate, know your numbers, do sales and marketing, systemize your business, and have a great culture within it. So thanks for listening to this Fail Forward podcast episode. The next episode, we're going to be talking about parents and business, because I really struggled with being a parent and running a business. And it's not just necessarily business, it's talking about work and work life and having the work life with children and how that works and the tough times I had, and just a bit of advice I can give through that and through my experience of that time. So if you've liked what you heard today, please like and subscribe to the channel that you're listening on. And please share with anybody else. And again, reach out to me through my socials if you've got any input you'd like to have into this podcast. So thanks for listening. And remember, failure is only a negative if you do not learn from it and you give up. Thank you.